Hello everybody, I'm here with my good friend Meghan Abate, and with February being American Heart Month, I think it's important that we discuss some of the concerns around our heart health. And we're going to be here today to talk about one of my good friends, Joe Abate, and the charitable foundation that was created in his name. Meghan, why don't you tell us a little bit about Joe?
So Joe, as you know, was a big personality, larger than life, and he really wore his heart on his sleeve. He had one of the best hearts, and he got to share it with everyone. So he'd walk into a room, and he'd leave knowing, or he'd start knowing no one, and he'd leave knowing everyone. He was a people person.
That was Joe's personality. He was very fun, always smiling, ton of fun.
Always fun, always smiling, and then just getting to know him and spend so long with him, he had a way to rub off on everyone. So now I think we all carry a little bit of Joe and his fun-loving personality with us too.
Absolutely. And Joe also gave us a very big gift with your help.
With my help, yeah, a little bit.
Tell us a little bit about Joe, again, being a husband and more importantly, a father.
So I'm lucky because as a husband, I was able to really grow up with him. I met him when I was 18, and he taught me so much about just life and myself, and it's really a gift that we were able to grow together. But like you said, the biggest gift is our daughter, and we got to spend 5 months together as a family with Joe, Vienna, and myself, and she truly is his twin. I mean, we joke, I played a little bit of a role in it, but she is him, and he was so excited to become a dad and
Absolutely.
to spend that time with her. And just even though it was such a short amount of time, I have no doubt that he spent every day of those 5 months proud to have had her.
Absolutely. I could agree with that comment.
Yes.
Joe and I talked a lot about that. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about Joe's condition that he had at birth and a little bit about Joe's time here with those challenges?
So Joe was born with a congenital heart defect. It was ventricular septum defect, which essentially is a hole in the heart involving the two lower chambers. And so at 6 days old, he received open heart surgery to repair that and spent the following 30 days in the NICU. And the doctors had told his parents that he probably wouldn't grow to be very tall or big and would have some physical limitations as opposed to his peers. But typically, as Joe would do, he wasn't happy with it, and so he surprised everyone by being over 6 feet and extremely active and healthy and an avid athlete. And so he truly lived his life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was the biggest of all of the brothers.
He was. He was certainly the biggest.
And with being told you're going to have some limitations, he definitely, not only with the size and his physical fitness, he was a MMA fighter. He fought professional fights. I got to watch him in his first fight, which he won. And he definitely was healthy. He went to the gym all the time. He worked out, and he didn't have restrictions as he grew up. So he was living a normal life. He would go to his physicals and pay attention to his health.
Yes.
But, just before his passing, he was in good health.
He was.
And, it's important, especially with it being February, which is American Heart Month, that we're raising awareness to pay attention to those signs and start to eat a little bit healthy, maybe reduce the amount of alcohol that you take in. If you're smoking, definitely stop that. But, it's really important that everyone is paying attention to their health and wellness.
Absolutely, and I feel like Joe was, he was an advocate for that, and whether it stemmed from his birth defect or just being aware as he grew older that a heart-healthy life is essential.
Absolutely, absolutely. And unfortunately, after, Joe's passing, which is just terrible, something good came of that. You thought it would be a great idea to start a foundation in his name to advocate for the things that he was passionate about. One,
Yes.
that I was also very passionate about. Joe and I would talk a lot about. Joe would always say if he knew what he knew as an adult, he would do things so much differently as a kid, and that kind of sparked the Ignite Talent portion of the Joe Abate Charitable Foundation. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the other part of the foundation?
Yes, so the other part is our Family Resource Fund, and what we do with that is provide financial and in-kind support to congenital heart families down at Yale's PCICU. And by doing that, it allows the parents and the families to provide better continuity of care for their child, to better advocate, to better be involved and be present if we can help lift some of those burdens off of them.
And you do that numerous different ways, correct?
Yes, so one way we do it is the financial support, and so all of the funds raised for our Family Resource Fund go to the financial support in terms of mortgage and rent payments, utilities, house bills, transportation, groceries, childcare, because so often there are other siblings that the parents then have to find care for and essentially leave to go and care for their child with a heart defect. Something as simple as a parking pass. We also provide those because they're there for months on end and it truly starts to add up. So that's the financial way, but we also do it with a little bit of comfort and emotional support by making our care kits. And that just comes with everyday essentials and little comfort care for those families, again, who are coming to the hospital for maybe a week or a month's long stay. And it just lets them know that they're not alone. I think that congenital heart defects can feel super isolating because it's almost an invisible defect. You wouldn't know per se. And so these families are trying to navigate that. And if we could just give them a little bit of that emotional support, it goes a really long way.
Absolutely. We've heard a lot of feedback from the short time that we've been working with Yale, from some of the families that we've impacted. Would you like to tell any stories about that?
Yes, luckily, just even with the bags alone, the families say that, you can understand how much that meant to me, to read the tag with the foundation, to know why it started, but to also know that someone is there. We were also able to support families who, he was 2.5, and he was born with a congenital heart defect, had multiple open heart surgeries, and he was waiting on a heart transplant. So we were able to provide them with financial support, and just this past September, he received his heart and walked out of that hospital, a new little boy. And so to be involved in that way and to meet that family and that little boy was extremely rewarding.
Absolutely. So much good stuff happens with the Joe Abate Charitable Foundation. Why don't you tell some of the people watching how they could get involved and help out and support Joe's foundation?
Yes, so if you visit our website, joeabatefoundation.org, not only is there a donation tab, which is always much appreciated, but it discusses a lot of the events that we have coming up. And again, the funds raised at these events go to support our Family Resource Fund. So you can find out how you can volunteer and continue with the support.
And there's so many great events coming up. I have the privilege of being on the board. But I love going to all these great events. We have a cut-a-thon coming up in Wallingford. We have a golf tournament that will be happening, or a mini golf tournament, which is family friendly and fun. And we have one of our biggest events coming up, which is Light Up the Night. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Light Up the Night and when it is?
So Light Up the Night will be taking place this coming September at the Silver Sands Beach Club in East Haven. And again, it does go to both our programs, the Igniting Talent portion and the Family Resource Fund as well. And it's a night of food, dancing, fun, drinks, a silent auction, again, to support these beautiful children and families and let them know they're not alone.
I thank everybody for paying attention and watching. And if you guys would like to learn more about the American Heart Month and the Joe Abate Charitable Foundation, there'll be some links below. And I look forward to seeing everyone at all of our upcoming fundraisers for the Joe Abate Charitable Foundation. Thank you and stay healthy.